In today's video, we're going to be discussing the wrist angles in your golf swing, and I'm going to share with you a really simple drill to improve that lead wrist in your backswing and in your downswing. Make sure you check this video out. Slow pace. Just a slow pace. Welcome back to the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me, Jon Watts, today in my back garden. Hope you guys are keeping safe from the coronavirus. That's why I'm at home filming this video rather than out on the golf course. They have opened now, but very limited availability. A lot of golfers getting back out there, a lot more interest into golf. This drill that I've got for you here could be used on the driving range if you're able to get out there, or a practice area, or simply at home still doing some exercises, whether you're able to hit golf balls or not. And what we're going to be discussing is the wrists in the backswing and in the start of the downswing, especially this lead wrist. So my lead wrist is just my hand that's closest to the target, and very key for controlling the club face position at the top of the golf swing. So what my preference would be at the top, let's talk about the very top of the golf swing, would be for a relatively flat lead wrist. Now, there have been good golfers this way, which we often refer to as a cupped position, and there are elite golfers this way in more of a bowed position. The guys with a more bowed position, let's talk about those first of all. They'll generally have a club face that points more up towards the sky in a closed position. Now, that for a right-handed golfer is going to send the ball left of target if they're excessive with hands through impact. What they're able to do, these guys who are very elite at doing it, is they have this wrist angle, and it means they get that club face a little bit more angled down, and they're almost able to hold the club face off, reduce hand action through impact. So what they're very good at doing is rotating their body. The elite men and women that have that position will also, if they're very good golfers of course, have that rotation through the golf ball. And that's a great way to play the golf game if you're strong enough. There have been good golfers this way in a cup position, and that will generally give it an open club face where the toe hangs more downwards. Now for me that is destructive if it stays open in the downswing where the toe is more up, or actually the face pointing more up towards the sky. It means it's going to send the ball out right to target for me as a right-handed golfer, unless I use a lot of hands. And we might time that, but the chances of doing that consistently are very slim. So the guys and ladies who are elite golfers who tend to have a cupped position at the top of their backswing actually normally are changing position on the downswing. Now if you can do that and you can repeat it consistently, then that is absolutely fine. And we can generate some speed from that change in direction. But it can be very hard unless you're practicing a lot, hitting a lot of golf balls, to again time that correctly. So my preference would be for that lead wrist to be relatively flat. Okay, you can see it there with my lead arm. So the drill, quite simply, is going to be put your golf glove on. You could use underneath side of your watch, and just with an ice cream stick or any kind of splint. The ice cream sticks are great because they're rounded off, not going to be too sharp. Just down the back of the glove there. So half is sticking in the glove, half sticking out, and you're just going to use that as your splint for that lead wrist, just to try and get that flat lead wrist at the top of the golf swing. If you get that wrist more cupped this way, which I'd say is more destructive for a lot of golfers who aren't going to be able to change direction, they're going to dig that into that wrist. If you are that way and you're digging in, as long as you change direction like some of those elite golfers do, if you look at a Matthew Wolf goes from this way to that way in the downswing, and you can repeat it again, absolutely fine. What we're talking about here is the simplest way to achieve it. So it's not digging in. It's not digging in on the downswing. That means I've got a very neutral club face position. Where I should feel it start to pinch back in is actually post impact on that release position here. So I'm starting to now feel that dig back in as my wrist has to work a little bit this way through impact or after impact. But what we're talking about is the backswing and start the downswing, flat lead wrist, it's not digging in, it's very comfortable. It's not going to hurt at all, whereas if I go this way, it's definitely digging in. If I have the opposite movement, like a Dustin Johnson, Jon Rahm type of position with that wrist this way at the top of the golf swing, it's not digging into me. And again, there are probably more elite golfers swinging it that way than that way. That works fine with good rotational rates. So you've got to observe your ball flight, see what's right for you. Okay, the ball flight will tell you a lot, where the ball's starting, where it's curving, to whether you need to start working on that club face. Of course, you can look at it on video as well. What I'm going to do here is have a few rehearsals. We're talking about the simplest way, so flat lead wrist, and it's just maintaining position, it's not digging in. And then there's nothing stopping us going ahead and hitting some shots. Let's start at just a slow pace. And I feel that dig in, but it's digging in, as I said, after impact, not before impact. It's a really simple range or at-home drill, whether you're hitting golf balls or not, to work on that wrist angle. So they felt very solid. There's nothing, I was just doing those at more like a 3/4 pace. There's nothing stopping you picking up the pace on those. But the excellent part about this drill is it's a flowing drill. It's not just a stop exercise. We're actually able to make golf swings with it. Once you've done some with it, do some without it. Try and get that same position. Look at it on video if you can. But of course, first of all, understand your ball flight. If you are someone who's got this position, that cupped wrist, the club face is open, you're sending that ball out right to target, then you definitely need to change it. If you're someone who's got that closed club face position, that bowed wrist, and you're missing everything left and you just can't rotate quick enough, again, you might look to change it. So observe the ball flight first. We go ahead and get that same feeling, flat lead wrist, maintaining position. And it means I need to do very little through impact with my hands. There is some rotation, of course, but not a real flip with hands. So some with it, some without it. It's a great exercise, very simple to do wherever you can to work on that wrist angle. It's great to get that sensation of where you are at the top. And I would always suggest looking at on video to check that, observe the ball flight first of all. If that video has helped, hit the thumbs up and do subscribe to my channel to never miss a video again.